Good morning to all the viewers of The Legal Game. This is Kushagra Goyal, and I hope all of you had a wonderful Diwali break. We are finally back into the groove. We all know that now the holiday is over and the hard work begins again, right? So today we are going to do the newspaper analysis of November 8, but at the same time now it also is a marker of a very important date that is approaching us, which is the Nobel Prizes. Now, the Nobel Prizes on themselves have at least a margin of 1 to 5 marks. Each year, every law entrance exam gets a question from the Nobel Prizes. So, it's a topic that you cannot miss, just cannot avoid. Okay, so we'll be doing that today, in the sense that in the evening at 5 to 6 p.m. I'm taking a static GK session on the Nobel Prizes. So stay tuned for that. Good morning everyone. In the meantime, good morning Asmita, good morning Anushka, good morning to all the viewers once again. So let's dive in. Before we do that, a brief introduction about myself. So I'm Kushagra Goyal, Masters in Economics, a graduate from National Law University, Orissa, assisted student to achieve AIR 4, AIR 16 and CLAT 21. If any of you want me to have a conversation with these top rankers, put it in the comment box that you want them, so that we will arrange a date with them and you all can have your conversation with any of them. So please put it in the comment box, not the live chat. Put it in the comment section of this video if you want it. Okay. Now moving on, I humbly invite all of you to join me on the Telegram community. We have already reached a significant landmark today, in the sense that in just 2 weeks we have a community of 50 learners, which is amazing. 50 is the total seats for one particular category at a particular law school, right? So that's in its own is a big achievement, and I humbly invite all of you to join the community. Today in the evening I will be launching a new Telegram channel also, particularly for your notes on legal. Okay, so I'll be doing that. Keep an eye on it. Okay, and you can find me on Kushagra Goyal the legal game _ Unacad. Now the session that I'll be taking on Nobel Prizes will be a special class. Special classes are completely free of cost. They don't cost you any penny. All right, you will receive the lecture notes immediately after the class is over. You can enroll for the class, all right, and you can ask me questions. You can raise your hands, you can have a live conversation with me, you can participate in polls also. So don't forget to attend the class at 5 p.m. today. Okay, now moving on, lastly, for paid subscription there is an additional feature for the students of the Learners app. Now on that you can participate in unlimited quizzes and also raise a hand to talk to me live, in the sense that instead of a passive conversation you can have active conversation with me with follow-up questions. That feature is exclusive for subscribers, and you can use my code KUSHGK for an additional 10% discount to avail of the same. So I hope to see all of you on the Learners app today at 5 p.m. That session is completely free of cost. Okay, so let's dive into the newspaper. Now all of you must remember that, see, on some days the newspaper will have less content and on some days it will have more content. Okay, we don't have to worry too much on the days when the content is less. Okay, that's not the purpose. All we have to be is consistent. We have to ensure consistency with the content. Okay, so on the first page, on the front page today, we don't have much content, particularly from CLAT perspective. See, this is a political party's national executive. They are doing their own agenda, right? Even if the prime minister is from a particular political party, it doesn't matter to us from a CLAT perspective. Okay, we don't have to, because this is political news. Okay, there is less factual content. All we have to focus on is facts. All right, so we will avoid this, we will avoid this news also. It's not particularly important for us. What is more important for us is this news, what is happening on the, where is the coast between India and Pakistan. Okay, so that particular part is what is more important. Good morning Trasik, good morning Muskan. Okay, so it is in the Arabian Sea where this event has happened. What has happened? Fishermen killed in Pak firing off Gujarat. Who has conducted this? This is Pakistan Maritime Security Agency. So now this agency name is something you have to keep an eye on. Alright, that's the first thing. Okay, there has been historical clashes also at the same site. Why have there been historical clashes? Because it's a resource rich area, in the sense that the 26/11 terrorist attacks happened because the terrorists came via boat using the Arabian Sea. Similarly, Pakistan also defends this area, trying to protect its maritime resources. Okay, so in that sense, this area is a conflict zone. So the agencies involved in it become important. Okay, so this is the one thing. Now the name also of the area where it happened also becomes important, because in case you get a diverted question, then this kind of name also becomes important. Okay, so Okha, 6 other crew of vessel from Okha reportedly abducted. So fishermen not only has been killed, but certain have been abducted. Till now, in total, 345 fishermen from Gujarat are in Pakistani jails as of December 2020. That's a huge number of Indians trapped with Pakistanis. Okay, so for us, the area Arabian Sea, okay, that becomes important. Okay, now we move on the right hand side. Rains batters Chennai, several areas flooded. Not important for us. This is geographically, this is related to the withdrawal of monsoon. That is why it is happening. Okay, then post Diwali, because of firecrackers along with stubble burning, the overall pollution level in the capital is very high. Okay, so now there is a request that hold an emergency meet between environment ministers of the neighboring areas. So now the question is, what are the neighboring areas of NCR? If you are to get a question, which of the following is not a neighboring state to the NCR region? Okay, so you get options: UP, Haryana, Punjab and Rajasthan. Okay, now which of the following is not a direct neighboring state to NCR region? Okay, so these kind of questions are part and parcel of your preparation. Even if the heading itself is not important, this becomes the question. Okay, so who all have been invited to the emergency meet becomes equally important for us. Okay, not in the sense of the topic under which we are studying the heading. ये बात ध्यान में रखने की जरूरत है कि हेडिंग क्या है उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. ओके ओके, recently Alwar, the area that was supposed to be part of NCR, that has now been called that it will not be part of it. Okay, so अब हमें okay in this particular headline, Gopal Rai, the Environment Minister of Delhi, then has called Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so Rajasthan or state of Rajasthan is not part of it. Okay, they have not been invited. All right, so you get questions related to that kind. ये चीज ध्यान में रखने की जरूरत है. राजस्थान is the answer. It is not directly adjacent to the borders of NCR region. Okay, now we move on. अब ये political news है. छठ पूजा is banned in Delhi this year. Okay, because of COVID guidelines. In that sense, now politics is related to it. हमें उससे कोई लेना देना नहीं. We have nothing to do with that. Okay. Then there has been a recent issue related to prayer at public site. ओके अब हमारे लिए क्या रिलेटेड है इससे, इज द राइट टू फ्रीडम ऑफ रिलीजन. ओके हमारे लिए सिर्फ वो पार्ट इंपॉर्टेंट है. ओके prayers at public site is something that has been happening around Gurgaon region और गुरुग्राम के अंदर namaz was being offered. Now suddenly puja has been conducted last weekend there during Diwali's. Okay, but the constitutional aspect of it, इससे related constitutional aspect, okay, that is what matters to us. Okay, हमें सिर्फ इस बात से लेना देना. अब this week I will cover a comprehensive video for all of you regarding the important Supreme Court judgments related to prayer at public site. Okay, I will be doing a YouTube video this week. Okay, this will be because legal GK और legal reasoning के अंदर prayers at public site is an important part. अब उस तरीके का क्वेश्चन आ सकता है हमें, तो नवंबर के महीने में this is one important aspect that we have to cover. Okay, then moving on. So Anshu, I will cover 5th and 6th November in weekly revision. So I am taking a class today at 9 PM for weekly current affairs revision. So उसके अंदर we will cover 5th and 6th November से related important news. Okay, rather than making two separate videos about it, I will cover them within one class. Okay, now from the editorial side. On the editorial aspect, the left one, fuel price optics. This is global fuel prices have been rising. That has an inflationary effect on the economy. Okay, so usse related this article is there. Central government has done a duty reduction, then certain other state governments have done further duty reduction. So that is what, and then they have tried to make political output or political optics related to it. Say that we did a Diwali gift, we are so concerned with the people. Okay, and the opposition will highlight how the central government or the state governments are earning so much while causing inflation effect to the population. So that is political article. Then on the left hand side, rebels and rulers. अब यहाँ पे this is related to what is happening in Ethiopia. Okay, now यहाँ पे this aspect I will cover at 2 PM. Okay, I am doing a session on YouTube. We'll be doing 7 November का newspaper analysis. ठीक है, उस 7 November newspaper analysis में there is an entire important article related to TPLF, Tigray's People Liberation Front. Okay, the community highlighted here. अब उससे related क्या चीजें हैं, all of that we will be talking about at 2 PM. Okay, एक जगह पे एक साथ I will tell you the entire story. Brief में I am just going to tell you what has happened. Okay, एक brief intro I will give right now. ठीक है, उसको समझने में then जो भी important facts हैं उससे related, ठीक है, that we will note down at 2 PM. ठीक है, so don't forget to attend the 2 PM session. अब इसके अंदर हुआ क्या है, so consider this as the Ethiopian territory. Okay, इथोपियन टेरिटरी का नॉर्दर्न पार्ट, दिस इज नॉर्थ, दिस इज नोन एज द टिग्रे रीजन। ठीक है, ये एक एरिया है, जैसे इंडिया के नॉर्थ में जम्मू एंड कश्मीर है, उसी तरीके से इथियोपिया के नॉर्थ का रीजन इज टिग्रे। ठीक है, उसके ऊपर देयर इज अ कंट्री नोन एज एरिट्रिया। ओके, एंड वेस्ट में इज सूडान। दिस इज इन वेस्ट, दिस इज इन नॉर्थ। ठीक है, what had happened in 2020, the government attacked Tigray region, ठीक है, and tried to remove TPLF. TPLF is a militant organization, militias. They were asked ki, see, you lay down your arms, you merge with the army, or we will attack you. So in 2020, the government attacked the TPLF. TPLF retreated in the mountain region, this part of the territory. ठीक है, this is illustrative. Then in 2021, now they have struck back. Okay, it will be on YouTube. The session on Ethiopian crisis TPLF will be on YouTube. Okay, so now what has happened is they have struck back. Let's see, because for the past 30 years, okay, TPLF had been in power. They had been in power in Ethiopia. Okay, they were the strong power of the region. Okay, they were the one who were ruling the democratic government also. So in 2020, from 2018 to 2020, they were ousted from power. It's, for example, let's just imagine that Mickey Mouse has been the head of Disney, alright, he has been the face of Disney, and suddenly Donald Duck comes in and removes Mickey Mouse. Okay, so now Mickey Mouse wants to reclaim his power. So that kind of illustration, Disney is associated, whenever you hear the word Disney, you also always think of the Mickey Mouse cartoon character, right? So now it's similar to this, that this is the situation happening. The TPLF is now striking back and probably going to take over the capital of Addis Ababa, which is the capital of Ethiopia, right? So that is the story in short. अभी किसी को जिसको समझ नहीं आई है, put it in the chat box. Okay, I'll try to explain a little bit more in case you have not understood. Okay, I think everyone understood it, right? We'll be covering the more detailed parts. The political prisoners read करना है या नहीं? Political prisoners in general कौन लोग होते हैं? Someone who is politically non-aligned to you, who is a political opponent. जैसे राहुल गांधी and नरेंद्र मोदी are political opponents. Now imagine if the government comes in power and jails Rahul Gandhi merely because he had opposed the Modi government. So that kind of a person will be a political prisoner. Okay, yes, as of right now, Muskan, TPLF controls the Tigray region, but they are now making more inroads south. So we'll be talking about that. The other two editorials are very important for us, especially this one. Okay, this is a very important one, right? This is something you have to read definitely. Okay, I will explain this now at the last part. Once we conclude the newspaper, in the last 20 minutes we'll be doing this. Okay, Tigray is a province of Ethiopia. They do not want to go different. Okay, they are part of a ethnicity. जैसे कि let's say Jammu and Kashmir people consider themselves Kashmiri. People in Rajasthan call themselves Rajasthani. People in the south call themselves Dravidian. Okay, so उस तरीके से they are different people, different ethnicity, but doesn't mean that they are want a separate nation particularly. Okay, ऐसी कोई demand नहीं है वहाँ पे अभी. Okay, they just wanted to remain politically relevant. For example, now the two most important politicians of India are from Gujarat. Okay, and there is very little political importance to those from Kerala or Tamil Nadu. Okay, so now imagine if they want to be part of the central government. So that kind of a tussle, political tussle, which has turned violent. Okay, so Ethiopian crisis is like a situation, a political tussle turning violent. You can write it as this: political tussle turning violent. Okay, that's in crux how you can define the Ethiopian crisis. Political tussle turning violent. Okay, now we will cover these two editorials separately, right? Don't worry. Then moving on with the op-eds, the long road to timely Manrega payments, not important for us. On the right hand side, strengthening vaccine trust, because right now 36% of the population has received 2 doses. So this article is about ki how can you increase the efficiency. We need 70 to 80% population to receive the 2 doses to actually claim herd immunity. All right, so this is that we still need to take more steps to increase vaccine trust, right? Then this is political article, not relevant for us. On the data point, it highlights how most polluted time for Delhi is always, or in majority of the cities, is always the time of Diwali. Alright, so it cannot always be claimed on stubble burning. There is a direct correlation between firecracker burning and Diwali, alright, or pollution levels. So this is the data point that highlights that. Then is the news: Haryana law on hiring causes concern. Okay, what is this law? This is the law for 75% reservation in private jobs. Okay, reservation in private jobs. Now this for any job that pays 30,000 rupees. Okay, 75% will have to be reserved for domicile. It's like a state domicile quota. Jaise certain NLUs have state quotas, right? Similarly, this is the case now. Okay? So Haryana is the first one to go ahead with it. Alright, so this article talks about how industry people have called that, see, this is going to lead to an exodus of companies out of Haryana and Gurugram, that they are going to move out. Why? Because there is a skill crunch. People, it takes time to build up a population that is skilled enough to carry out any jobs. Alright, so this is going to target people who are from outside of Haryana who are working there. See, when, for example, people from outside the country come to live in a particular place, right? So certain people are not directly related to the IT jobs, but they are in construction business. So they are building houses for these people to live. They are building, interior designers from Haryana are getting jobs because these people now want to decorate their houses, all of that. So you may not directly have jobs related to in the state, but then there are ancillary jobs also get created. All right, so when we had earlier discussed it, we had also then talked about that our constitution only recognizes us as Indians. This domicile is a way for states to cover up their limitation of not creating enough jobs. Okay, 75% reservation to people from Haryana, okay, in jobs. For example, there is a law office of Vadhva Law Chambers in Gurgaon, right? Now most of the people, it's a very good place to work. They handle cases from all across the country. Their office is there. A lot of people from different parts of the country get hired at that law firm. Now that this policy has come in, they can only hire 25% people from outside, and all the people who are not from Haryana, 75% of their workforce will now have to be from people of Haryana. Others have to be let go of. Okay, so the easier way for that law firm is to relocate its office. अपना ऑफिस दिल्ली में लगा लो, दिल्ली की जगह पंजाब चले जाओ, या यू गो टू नोएडा विच फॉल्स इन उत्तर प्रदेश, वहां पे ये लॉ नहीं है, राइट? So instead, why would they relinquish their workforce? People who have worked there for years and years, suddenly they will not be let go of, alright? So this is what this article is talking about, the concern. Okay? हमारे लिए सबसे ज़्यादा important इसके अंदर is Article 90, okay, which calls for freedom of movement to work from one place to the other. Okay, then moving on, more political news, nothing relevant here. Okay, ban on Italian firm linked to Augusta Westland scam. What is this scam? This is the scam related to VVIP choppers. Okay, India had purchased choppers. There is a belief that bribes were paid to Air Force officials and Aviation Ministry officials by Augusta Westland, which was the company of manufacturing. Investigation is ongoing in this scam. Okay, then moving on. So Supreme Court will right now is also hearing the, as we are taking this live class, Supreme Court is hearing the Lakhimpur Kheri violence case. This is now for us, when a court hears such meetings, okay, what they are doing is a process known as continuing mandamus under Article 32. इस तरीके की जो headlines है, when the court is hearing something, alright, on a daily basis or on a regular basis, when the court is doing the inquiry, then that is known as a continuing mandamus. ठीक है? This is the provision under Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. This was a court's invention. मतलब Constitution में सिर्फ the writ of mandamus is given, but the court in 1996 came up with a jurisprudence कि we should do a continuing mandamus. Court monitored inquiries are known as continuing mandamus. ठीक है, ये समझने की बात है. Now moving on. So yesterday Iraqi Prime Minister, okay, Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi, he faced an assassination attempt. There was a drone, okay, a drone attack was carried out at his residence. He escaped that. Okay, so the name of the Prime Minister becomes important, Mustafa al-Kadhimi. Okay, that is something that you have to keep a note of. Now, there has been, ever since Saddam Hussein was removed way back in 2001, alright, his government was pulled down, Iraq as a country has been divided, okay, between vested groups who either want to remain violent, or between Shia and Sunnis, or in trying to rebalance themselves between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Alright, so Iraq is like a buffer zone between these two big powers of Middle East, Iran and Saudi Arabia. So all of those vested groups have been part and parcel which has kept the country on the boil. Alright, so Iraqi Prime Minister, he got saved from a assassination attempt from a drone strike yesterday. More updates as and when they come about what has happened here, why it has been happening. So we will talk about it then. Okay, India has also come up with a map for drones where in what areas drones can fly, at what height can they fly, do you need permission, or everyone now needs to register their drones with the local police stations. Okay, so that is part of what we have to know. Okay, is it a constitutional right to have reservations in private jobs? It is not a constitutional right, it is being created through a legislative action. Okay, something that you don't have but the law is giving to you, that is known as a legislative action. Okay, then on the right hand side is Xi Jinping, the Chinese premier, the Chinese president. So this will be the 20th party congress of the Communist Party of China. Okay, this year marked the 100-year last year was 100 years of the Communist Party of China's establishment. Okay, इस साल पूरा they have been celebrating that. Now Xi Jinping, when he took over power, he took power in 2012. Okay, he has been the Chinese premier in 2012. He has taken China to more authoritarianism, in the sense that Communist Party of China now is a fiefdom of Xi Jinping. Okay, he removed term restrictions. पहले ऐसा था कि you could only be the president or the head of the party for 2 terms. Okay, that restriction has been done away with. Okay, his mantra in terms of what he wants for China is to growing strong. The agenda of Xi Jinping that he will bring forth this year, okay, is grow stronger or growing strong. That is what we have to note. Now when he will do his conference, what speech he will give, that becomes more important for us to be noted down. Abhi in the meantime nothing to note. Then civil disobedience campaign begins in Sudan. We have already covered the Sudan military coup on YouTube. I have done a detailed edition on that. Okay, you can find that video in current affairs playlist on the YouTube channel. Okay, now because the military coup has taken over and the democratic government has not been restored, protesters have now begun a civil disobedience. An idea borrowed from Mahatma Gandhi. That is what the power of Gandhi himself is, alright, of Gandhiji. That see, his ideas now transcend every democratic struggle everywhere. So this is part of Sudan. What happens there is what we will eventually note down. Okay. Now moving on the right hand side, Ethiopia capital not facing bloodbath. This is again related to the conflict there. Okay. TPLF has claimed that they will not let bloodbath on their capital, alright, that they will not lay siege there, or there will not be any civil war like situation. The country is facing huge famine related situation, okay, because of the civil war like condition there. Now all these are empty promises also, so we will wait for the story to develop of what happens eventually. ठीक है, जो होगा उसके लिए once it happens we will talk about it. अभी जब हो रहा है we don't have to worry about it. Okay, on the left hand side is the news far more important for us. So the IPL is happening in UAE, right, and this news has also come from UAE, United Arab Emirates. 12 Arab Emirates, they got together to create the country of UAE. Now UAE has permitted non-Muslims to marry, divorce and get joint child custody. Okay, so until now only Muslims in Abu Dhabi could get married, but now non-Muslims can register themselves, they can live there, divorce in UAE. This is part of these countries becoming more liberal, more reformed. Okay, they are allowing people of non-Muslim origins. See, for the longest time most of the Middle Eastern countries portrayed themselves as Muslim countries, that they are exclusively for Muslims, but now they are becoming more and more humane, in the sense that they are accepting of people from every walk of life. So the most obvious kind of question that can happen to you all in your CLAT examination or where, which Muslim country or Middle Eastern country recently allowed non-Muslims to marry? The answer will be UAE. Okay, or which of the following countries allow non-Muslims to marry? So India is there, then Pakistan is there, Bangladesh is there, and now UAE will also be an option in that. So you can get these negative kind of questions also to determine. All right. Okay. Now we move on. Apart from this, Palestinians, Israel's power over US mission in Jerusalem. So this is part of Jerusalem as the capital. We have talked about Israel-Palestine dispute on YouTube, okay, in which I have explained how Jerusalem is claimed as a capital by both the sides, the Palestinians and Israelis. The UN resolution had called for Jerusalem to be an international territory not belonging to either of them. Today, Western Jerusalem is in control of Israel and Eastern is in control of the Palestinians. That is where the Al-Aqsa Mosque dispute had come up earlier this year. So all of this is part of Jerusalem, and who does Jerusalem belong to? Okay, the belongingness of a place and to which community does it belong to? Okay, so that is what is this about. Okay, abhi isme there is nothing to note. This is usual sparring. India got knocked out yesterday as New Zealand defeated Afghanistan. Okay, so New Zealand and England are the two teams that have qualified from the group. Okay, then today India plays its last game. One very interesting question had come up, so I will write it, related to sports. Okay, so on this note we have concluded the newspaper analysis. There is nothing more. We'll now do the two important editorials, but before I do that, I will ask you all a question. Okay, okay, so the question is, which T20 captain for India has never won the World Cup? Alright, now that the T20 World Cup is ending, India has been knocked out. Okay, so the answer is Virat Kohli. India till now has only had two official T20 captains, two proper captains, okay, till now, because this is a new format. Okay, so Virat Kohli is the only Indian captain to have not won the T20 World Cup, because before him there was only one captain, which was MS Dhoni. So Virat Kohli is the only T20 captain of India who has not won the World Cup. Okay, NA is just none of the above or something. Okay, right? So this is a new statistic now with Virat Kohli. He is the only T20 captain for India to have not won the World Cup. There are only two Indian captains that have led India to World Cups, Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni. Dhoni won the World Cup in 2007. Okay, then he lost in 09, then in 11, then the World Cup happened in 2010. Okay, then he lost in 2014 and 16. Okay, both the time. So Virat Kohli is the only T20 captain to have not won the World Cup, right? So this is the trivia that you need to know. Now we jump back to the articles, the two main important editorials. अब इस editorial की AUKUS could rock the China's boat in Indo-Pacific. Alright, so this is related to the alliance. This heading is related to the military alliance of AUKUS. See, even if you don't have interest in sports, we will get at least 2 to 5 questions, right? 2 to 5 marks के questions in law exams from sports. अब this year Olympics has happened, right? तो उसमें से question बनेगा ही बनेगा. Okay, Olympics, Paralympics, अभी खेल रत्न award, all of that, right? So therefore you cannot ignore sports this year. For you all, sports definitely will get you this much amount of marks. Alright, 2 से 5 marks from sports will come. So you cannot ignore, and I will as a duty have to tell you everything that is important, right? So now coming back to this heading, AUKUS could rock China's boat in Indo-Pacific. So this is Australia, UK and US. This article talks about that how this is being hailed as a new military alliance. Okay, but see, this article tells us that, see, for decades there have been a partnership between the three countries. How? So the UK test for nuclear weapons happened in Australia, okay, on Australian soil, and it was the US that gave technology to UK to do their nuclear weapons, and they tested their nuclear weapons in Australian land. Why would a country allow another country to conduct their nuclear test? Only strong and close military allies. Similarly, UK and US have fought 2 world wars together. They are part of an alliance known as the NATO. Their military engagement is robust. Almost every thing related to intelligence information is shared by UK and US. There has not been a single conflict in which UK and US have not fought together in modern history. Okay, so this one calls that, see, whatever China may claim that, see, this is a new bloc, this is they trying to create a new agenda for themselves, these three have been together historically. Okay, so there is no claim that can lie कि भाई आपने पहली बार किया है, this is you are trying, now that we have become stronger, you are doing something. Okay, now the next part of the editorial is the engagement with China. All three countries have had different type of engagement with China, and all three are now undergoing a change. US and China already have a Cold War conflict. The recent Pentagon report called out China as a threat. NATO summit के अंदर भी China was for the first time claimed as a threat. Similarly, Australia and Chinese relationship have derailed recently, because of which they were aligned to become part of Quad, right? And they have started participating in the Malabar exercise, right? The Malabar exercise, all of it is part of Indo-Pacific. The other part that it talks about is ASEAN. That members of ASEAN who are also in the Indo-Pacific, what is their take on AUKUS alliance? Who are they aligned with? If they see Australia, UK, US, these are big countries. They can afford to ignore China eventually. But the smaller countries of ASEAN, they cannot. Alright, so China, this editorial tells us that China is leaving no stone unturned to influence or bring the ASEAN countries closer to itself. Okay? Some ASEAN countries are closer aligned to China, some are aligned to US. So there is a division between them. So this is talking about that factor. Okay? Pentagon is the defense establishment of the United States. It's their head of the defense apparatus. Okay, that's their building, Pentagon. That building is known as Pentagon building. 9/11 attacks, one of the targets of the 9/11 attacks was the Pentagon house, right? So this is the crux of it. हमारे लिए इसमें से क्या important है? First of all is the AUKUS alliance. उसके बाद then ASEAN. ठीक है, अभी recently ASEAN summit has also taken place, right? उसके बाद then the Quad. Quad से last year भी question आया था, Quad से इस साल भी question आएगा. Okay, then the history related to their engagements. Okay, that where did the nuclear test happened in of United Kingdom? So I will mark on the article. All right, I will write. So American Manhattan Project was the nuclear part or the nuclear program name of US. The first UK test was conducted in 1952 in Montebello Islands in Australia. Okay, a country still has, so if any of you are fan of the British series or the Netflix series of The Crown, it traces the British monarchy. Even till today, the head of the state of Australia is the Queen of England. All right, so that is the key part, that their engagement is deep controlled. Okay, so Montebello Islands 1952 1942 is the Manhattan Project. Now we come to the main article for us. This is related to UAPA. ठीक है, this is something we discussed on 28th October also. Okay, it is a particular judgment of the Supreme Court that has come out. Okay, the name of the judgment is Tahawa Fazil versus Union of India. What had happened was 3 men were charged with UAPA. ठीक है, 3 men were charged with UAPA. What has happened now? The verdict: there is no prima facie case. No prima facie case under UAPA. So what all do we need to know? हमें क्या जानने की जरूरत है इसके अंदर? फर्स्ट थिंग, under UAPA there is a presumption of being guilty. First thing, presumption of being guilty. Second, accused has to prove otherwise. In normal criminal law, all right, the burden is on the defense to establish that someone has committed a case. The burden of proof in UAPA shifts. Okay, so that's the new part. Then in UAPA, the new part under UAPA, or why it is known as such a draconian law, is because reliance is solely placed on material of the defense. Right? Draconian meaning that it is very harsh law. Okay, it's a very strict law, it's very harsh law. Okay, so that is why it is known as draconian law. Okay, so Under UAPA, there are three things. First, the presumption is of being guilty. Second, accused has to prove otherwise. And third, reliance is placed solely on the material of the defense. Okay? This is on both, especially for bail. ठीक है? Bail के लिए किसी को freedom मिलनी चाहिए या नहीं मिलनी चाहिए, that determination is done solely on the material of the defense. If the case diary, preliminary investigation of the state is so. Additionally, okay, so I am erasing this data. Additionally, bail can be denied up to 180 days without filing of charge sheet. Charge sheet is when the trial actually begins. ठीक है? अब the editorial has all these facts which I am listing out for you without reading the editorial per se. ठीक है? अब इसके अंदर what is the problem? जो भीमा कोरेगांव केसेस है, ठीक है, उनके अंदर या तो चार्जशीट फाइल ही नहीं हुई है या उसके लिए अनरीजनेबल एक्सटेंशन मिलता जा रहा है. जब तक चार्जशीट फाइल नहीं हुई है तब तक ट्रायल नहीं शुरू होगा और तब तक बेल डिनाई करी जा सकती है. मतलब मान लीजिए कि मैंने आपके घर में चोरी करी, ऐसा आपका कहना है, ठीक है, उसकी वजह से अब मैं जेल में हूं. मैं जेल में तब तक रहूंगा जब तक मेरा ट्रायल शुरू नहीं होता जिसमें आप ये देंगे एविडेंस कि आप ऐसा क्यों कहते हैं कि मैंने चोरी करी. जब तक आप वो प्रोवाइड नहीं करेंगे मैं जेल में रहूंगा. सो इवन इफ इवेंचुअली ऐसा प्रूव हो जाता है कि मैंने चोरी नहीं करी तो भी आप मुझे इतने सालों तक जेल में रख सकते हैं जितने साल की सजा होती ही नहीं. ऑलराइट, द प्रोसेस बिकम्स द पनिशमेंट. UAPA is criticized because the process becomes the punishment. Right? This is what is criticized about UAPA, that the process becomes the punishment. ठीक है? अब what has the court done? Why is this case so new and such an important thing? Right? What has the court done? In Dhawa Fazl, what new has been done? So I hope all of you noted it down. Okay? So now the court has held that just mere association is not a ground for being designated a terrorist. ठीक है? मान लीजिए मेरा नाम किसी टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के रजिस्टर में एडेड है, बट क्या मैं टेररिस्ट हूं? ऐसा नहीं जरूरी है, क्योंकि टेररिस्ट होने के लिए मियर एसोसिएशन नहीं प्लस एक्टिव इंटेंशन to participate plus actus reus towards this. ठीक है? उस टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के प्रति मेरा एक्टिव इंटेंशन टू पार्टिसिपेट प्लस एक्टस रियस होगा, तब मैं एक टेररिस्ट हूं. ठीक है? सिर्फ आपके कह देने से मैं टेररिस्ट नहीं बन जाऊंगा, मेरा कोई एक्शन होना चाहिए जिससे ये प्रूव हो कि मैं एक टेररिस्ट हूं. ठीक है? सो दिस इज now the law that the Supreme Court has done, that mere association is not the ground. Okay, I need to have active intention to participate and I actually do participate, okay, in doing something. Alright, so on that note, we will conclude the today's newspaper session. Continuous mandamus is one important thing. UAPA का लॉ धावा फजल वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया इज इंपॉर्टेंट. क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है? क्योंकि आपके लीगल सेक्शन से रिलेटेड है, ठीक है, लीगल करंट अफेयर्स का पार्ट है. इफ देयर इज अ पैसेज, क्रिमिनल लॉ से रिलेटेड केसेस आते हैं, इंटेंशन और एक्शन से रिलेटेड केसेस पूछे जाते हैं प्रिंसिपल रीजन क्वेश्चंस में. इस वजह से यूएपीए, बिकॉज वो न्यूज में है, हमें उसके बारे में पता होना चाहिए, ठीक है. सो दिस इज the two most important things. Then there are update about China, assassination attempt on Iraqi prime minister. उसके बाद UAE has brought in a new law to allow non-Muslims to marry, divorce and joint custody. So those are the things in the newspaper for the day. On that note, I will conclude. But before I do that, so I want to remind all of you about the beautiful feature of quiz. ऑन द लर्नर्स ऐप आप इसमें पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं, खुद का क्विज होस्ट कर सकते हैं या स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं, ठीक है. उसके अलावा दिस वीक ऑल्सो वी विल बी कंटिन्यूइंग विद द वीकली T20 टेस्ट. सो आज मंडे है, इंग्लिश का टेस्ट है, 20 मिनट्स का, 20 क्वेश्चंस. पार्टिसिपेट इन इट पहले, ओके. थैंक यू सो मच ऑल ऑफ यू. देयर आर 3 न्यू बैचेस ऑल्सो दैट आर स्टार्टिंग एंड द थिंग रिलेटेड टू बग्स is still active. If you find a bug, please report it, okay. So the 3 new batches, one is law escape, it is starting on 10th November. Then there is legal issues, it starts on 12th November. And then there is a 2-year program, rankers batch 2.0, okay, it starts on 12th November. And there is a session by 3 individuals on the Unacademy app, which will be on 8th, 10th and 12th November, okay. So thank you so much all of you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, do subscribe to it and hit the notification bell icon so that you don't miss the update. See you all at 2 p.m. Charge sheet is the accusations. Yes, it is your claim that this person has done this under this section, ठीक है. इस लॉ का वायलेशन इस जने ने किया है, वो चार्ज शीट में डिफाइंड होता है, ठीक है. On that note, thank you so much all of you. I will see you all at 2 p.m. Okay. Is this channel enough for your law exam preparation? Definitely yes. Okay. Every current affairs thing will be confirmed at this channel or on the special classes of the Unacademy app. I will do everything that is related to your legal GK, anything in current legal, and the entire GK section I will cover for all law entrance exams, okay. So it's my guarantee that 20 or 30% of your paper will be covered by me exclusively on the legal game and my special classes, okay. Thank you so much all of you. See you at 2 p.m. Very important topic related to Ethiopia, so don't miss out, okay. Thank you so much. See you then.